So as we're all aware, DLC 2 for Black Ops 6 is going to be a remake slash reworking of Origins from Black Ops 2 Zombies. Now this is regarded as one of the greatest maps of all time, so it having a remakey slash remastering type vibe is going to be really cool. There's certainly bags of potential when it comes to the gameplay front of things and from a narrative perspective. However, despite the undoubted potential of this map, at this moment in time I am very concerned with DLC 2 in Black Ops 6. Now, I'm really not trying to shit on Black Ops 6 in this video by saying that. Genuinely, I think this has been one of my favourite Call of Duties for a long time, particularly the Zombies mode. So far, it's been absolutely fantastic, and the most recent DLC in Citadel des Morts has been argued as one of the top 10 maps in all of Zombies. However, that being said, Black Ops 6 is definitely not a perfect game by any stretch of the imagination. Treyarch have made some real significant mistakes in my opinion recently, and generally speaking, when it comes to remaking a Zombies map, there can be a lot of issues that come with that. Now, my first major concern with Black Ops 6's DLC 2 essentially being an Origins remake is the sense that it is an Origins remake, right? Origins as a map is considered as easily the top 3 greatest of all time in Zombies, if not arguably number 1 for a lot of fans out there, and I just think that there's going to be such high expectations on doing this map right and doing it justice. And I think it's fair to say when it's come to fan favourite maps getting a remake slash reworking in the past, it has gone very poorly. Now, just to clarify, when I say that, I don't mean the carbon one-to-one copies that you've seen in things like Zombie Chronicles or the Resurrection DLC in Black Ops 1. I'm talking about where you actually will rework a map. So things like Blood of the Dead, Alpha Omega, Tag de Toten, funnily enough, all the ones in Black Ops 4, which is a game I think is terrible anyway. But they all absolutely suck ass. Don't get me wrong, there are some exceptions to this rule. I've heard a lot of people say that D Machine is very good from Cold War. Again, as we know, I haven't played it, but they certainly aren't all slam dunks when it comes to maps being reworked and remade. Now, of course, the concern is with Black Ops 6's DLC 2 is that this trend will continue with the Origins remake. And if it is bad, there will be absolute hell to pay with the actual Zombies community. Now, the best thing I can compare this to, once again, in Black Ops 4, is Blood of the Dead. Now, to me, Mob of the Dead from Black Ops 2 is probably my favourite map of all time. It's close between that and Gorokrovi, but when Blood of the Dead came out, I was the most excited I've ever been for a Zombies map, and I'll be honest, I can't play Mob of the Dead anymore because it reminds me of how shit Blood of the Dead is. Like, that is the level of disgust that that map brings me, and I know for a fact that people that love Origins as much as I loved Mob of the Dead, if they have a similar sort of reaction, there is going to be absolute hatred thrown towards Treyarch because of it. Now, another concern I have with this Origins remake is the potential of the wonder weapons used within it. Now, as we all know, when it comes to the original OG Origins, you have those OG staffs, right, and they are fantastic. At the time, they were groundbreaking. I believe it was the first time we had elemental wonder weapons in Call of Duty, and they were so unique, so creative, everybody loved them, to the point at which elemental wonder weapons became a staple of Call of Duty. They have carried on throughout many games since then. However, where the concern comes in is the fact that when it comes to elemental style wonder weapons, more often than not you do only get them sort of once in every single game. So for example, in Black Ops 3 you had the bows, Black Ops 4 you had the gauntlets, and so on. And when it comes to Black Ops 6, we've already had the elemental wonder weapons so far in this game, if you want to hit that one a game quota as such, with the swords in Citadel des Morts. Now, where my fear comes in is the fact that we could potentially have 2 maps running where we have elemental wonder weapons, and that could be a little bit oversaturating. Don't get me wrong, if they're overpowered and they're fun and people enjoy using them, I don't think people will really care too much, myself included. My fear just comes into the fact that it could be very similar to more casual players, and all of a sudden you get into a rut as, oh, you've got to build all these wonder weapons again, kind of as you did in Citadel des Morts. There's not much variation in the gameplay for players if you recreate that style of wonder weapon based gameplay. Now, on the other hand of this, if they do release Origins without the elemental staffs, people are going to be really pissed off, because that is such a quintessential part of that map. So either way, you're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. You're going to upset some people if you don't include them. To me personally, I feel like you have to include them in some capacity because they are so crucial to Origins itself. I mean, the only comparison I can draw is it would be like having the Giant or Deriz without the Wunderwaffe. Like, it just doesn't make sense. So I'm hoping that they are included, however I can understand if people don't necessarily want them. Now, despite the points I've just made being genuine concerns, I think that the biggest one for me at this point is the way that zombies in Black Ops 6 has been performing since DLC 1. Now, when you look at the content that's released so far in Black Ops 6 Zombies, personally, I've really enjoyed a large majority of it. I thought that Liberty Falls was solid and good for what it is. I thought Terminus was a fantastic return to form, and I genuinely agree with the sentiment that Citadel des Morts is arguably a top 10 Zombies map of all time. So I've had all three banger maps realistically, so why am I so concerned with DLC 2? I think the big thing is for me is how Treyarch have been operating in recent weeks. Now, despite how good Citadel des Morts is, there has been so many people in the community having issues with it. Now, that is largely from what I've seen with the Easter egg. A lot of it has been glitched where people will save and quit at certain points and then they can't continue and complete the Easter egg. I had it happen to me. It's absolutely painful, especially if you don't have like, I don't know, 2.5 hours free to try and learn it and go through it step by step. If you have to break your time down into chunks and work on it intermittently, it's not exactly player friendly. Now, Citadel des Morts has been out way over a month at this point, and there has been zero acknowledgement from Treyarch of this issue, so there's no sort of fix in mind at this stage. That in itself is shocking. Similarly, there's been a glitch in the game for weeks now regarding the vermin, where they can actually instant kill you and just one hit down you. And again, this is something that Treyarch apparently addressed, but it turns out that they didn't. Again, that's just negligence and just poor on their part. These are just a couple of examples of the lists of issues that this game has been having recently, and that's just from a gameplay perspective. When you look at the limited time modes that Treyarch have been releasing in terms of Jingle Hells and Red Light Green Light, both of these have been absolutely slandered. Now, personally, I made a video that I actually thought Jingle Hells was pretty good, but a lot of the community didn't like it, and I fully respect that. However, the entire Squid Game 2 Dead Light Green Light thing is just an absolute joke. It's a complete cash grab from Treyarch, and ultimately you can understand why people are really angry with them for this. And Treyarch has been in so much hot water recently, it's honestly ridiculous. When you look at that promo itself, you've also got the AI controversy with them creating AI generated calling cards and emblems. You've also got the AI voiceover work that was happening, where they've actually fired actors and voice actors that are within Zombies to just use their voice via AI so they can save costs. It's fair to say outside of the game it's been an absolute shit show for Treyarch recently, and it feels like that really high confidence that we went into with the launch of this game is buckling massively. Don't get me wrong, it's Call of Duty, it's Activision, it's always going to be a bit of a cash grab, but this does seem to be taking the biscuit. And that's clearly evident by the player base dying off since release. Don't get me wrong, player bases always die off after a release because they just do, right? Like, you're not going to expect as many people to play as you are on day one. However, I feel like how Treyarch have been acting has just left a sour taste in the mouth of a lot of consumers. But taking all that into account, what do you guys think? Are you guys concerned about DLC 2 as much as me? I do just want to clarify with this, I do genuinely want success for this game. I absolutely adore Zombies, so the last thing I would want is for this game to fall off and fail like other Zombies games have. Anyway, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and if you are new here and you haven't already and you did enjoy the video, please do consider liking and subscribing. That really does help out the channel and means the absolute world. But without further ado, I'll hopefully see you in another video sometime soon.